Hi, welcome to Perfect Search. Today we're going to go over a PPC introduction, going over topics such as what is PPC, why paid search, account overview, terminology, keywords, and ad formats. So we'll start with what is PPC. PPC stands for pay-per-click, which is the most common fee structure for a paid search account. With PPC, advertisers don't pay for impressions, which is when the ad is shown, but instead pay only when the ad is clicked on, driving traffic to the website. Paid search also has other names, so search engine marketing is a big one, or SEM, and like mentioned earlier, pay-per-click, PPC. Basically, paid search just acquires traffic to your website by purchasing clicks via ads on search engines such as Google, Bing, and Yahoo, which is now part of Microsoft. It's important to know the distinction of paid versus organic results. In the screenshot on the right, the yellow line separates the two, with organic results being below the yellow line and the paid results being above the yellow line. On a search engine results page, or a SERP, the organic results are determined by the search engine's algorithmic formulas for ranking different pages. In contrast, the paid results, again the ones above the yellow line, are typically the top 3 or 4 spots on the page and consist of text ads featuring headlines and descriptions. These listings are determined by paid advertisers and the ads that they create, and also the queries that they target. Moving into why paid search, there are several reasons why someone would pursue paid search. The main one being the fact that it is a high return on investment channel, and one of the reasons why, or several of the reasons why, include that it's extremely highly targeted. Unlike something like radio or television ads, the search ads are highly targeted and based on keywords that people are searching on search engines such as Google and Bing. And because an advertiser is bidding on relevant keywords to their business, they're able to get in front of users who are extremely relevant and show high intent to actually purchasing their service or product. Again, there are a lot of benefits to PPC. So first of all, you can reach people at the precise moment they're searching for what your business offers. Again, the ad is displayed when those users are searching for the keywords that you target through paid search. And you can also choose where your ad appears. So, for example, you can choose specific locations with whether you're targeting states, cities, or even neighborhoods. Additionally, you can control your budget. With cost per click bidding, again, you're only charged when someone clicks on your ad, not when your ad appears. And there are a lot of different bidding options to choose from. And so you really decide how much or how little you want to spend monthly, and then you're charged for that amount based on how many times your ads are clicked. It's also worth noting that Google and Bing don't have any sort of spending minimum, which might be nice for smaller companies or smaller businesses. The big players in search include Google, of course, and their platform is called Google Ads. Provides kind of all of the different tools that we need to run ads on Google, and that includes both search ads and then also any sort of display ads, which we'll talk about in a later training, but also things like YouTube ads as well can be created through the Google Ads interface. Additionally, Microsoft Advertising, or Bing, does have a share of the search market as well, and Bing, or Microsoft Advertising, now includes both Bing and Yahoo, so can run search ads there too. Next, we'll move into the account anatomy. Good account structure is incredibly important when creating a new account within Google or Bing, and basically Google and Bing both reward a good account structure with lower CPCs, and then it can also help you build out more specific ads for more specific keywords. And the basic account structure starts at the account level, moves into campaigns. Campaigns are further segmented into ad groups, and then within those ad groups there are both keywords and ads. and we'll jump into each of those a bit more. Like I mentioned, a good structure will improve what's known as your quality score, and with a higher quality score, you're able to have cheaper cost per clicks, and we'll get to that a little later in this training. As far as best practices go, a well-structured account consists of separate campaigns for each of your product lines, general themes, things like that. Of course, depending on the business, the campaign structure might differ quite a lot. And then within each of those campaigns, again, there are tightly themed ad groups, which have their own set of keywords and ads within those. As far as organizing your campaigns and ad groups, for campaigns, a good rule of thumb for creating an effective campaign structure is just to mirror your website's structure. So that's a good place to start. And then also, it's important to consider the different settings that are set at the campaign level, including the campaign type, the budget, the location targeting, the bid strategy, and ad rotation. As far as ad groups go, again, ad groups contain one or more ads which are targeted towards a shared set of keywords, so it's really important that those keywords share a common theme so that the ads can be specific to those keywords that the searcher is searching for. And then here we just have a couple of different examples of how you might organize your campaigns and ad groups based on different business types. Again, organizing your campaigns to mirror your website structure. And then also, if you have different products and services, thinking of the different product categories that might make sense as a campaign, and using those. Some additional ones, you could segment by brand names. Geographic location is important, again, just because the geo-targeting is set at the campaign level, so if you want to spend different budgets in different locations, that's something that will call for separate campaigns. Additionally, things like seasonal products and services could be separated into different campaigns to control budgets across those, or different themes. So like weddings versus corporate events versus birthdays. Next, we'll move into terminology. So we'll cover a couple of the different main terms that you might see when you're in an account, and also look at some of the key metrics that we look at. So first here we have keyword. Keywords are the words or phrases describing your product or service that you choose to target. And when a searcher is searching for those keywords, your ad is then eligible to show at the top of the search engine results page. Ad group is just a group of keywords associated with a set of ads. The campaign is just a set of ad groups that share a budget, location targeting, and other settings. The search ads, which we'll dive into a little bit later, are the text ads that show above the organic results that a user can click on to then go to your landing page. And then the final URL, also known as the landing page, is just where you decide to send users after they click on your ad. Some other important terms include max CPC bid, which is just your max willingness to pay for a click on your ad. And you can set that bid at the ad group level if you wish, but more commonly it's a best practice to set that at the keyword level, because oftentimes you see different keywords perform very differently. So it's important to tailor those bids a bit more. And then also your daily budget, again, that's set at the campaign level, so that's important to keep in mind, but it's just on average how much you'd like to spend each day on that campaign. Moving into paid search metrics, there's a handful of metrics that we can look at within the Google Ads or Bing interface. The first being impression, and an impression just indicates how often your ad was shown. So an impression is counted just each time your ad is shown on a search engine results page or other site on Google Network if you're talking about display. Then there's a click. So a click comes after an impression, obviously, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when someone clicks on your ad and goes to the landing page or your final URL. Click-through rate is then clicks divided by impressions. So basically, of the times your ad was shown, what percentage of the time was your ad clicked on? So for example, 100 clicks from 1,000 impressions equals a click-through rate of 10%. Cost per click is exactly what it sounds like, so just cost divided by clicks, and gives you an idea of, on average, what you're paying per click. And then quality score is just a measurement of how relevant your ad's keywords and landing page are to a person seeing your ad. And it's a score from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, and later on we'll be diving into what sort of factors go into that. Ideally, you'd like to have a quality score closer to 10, because what that means is you can have cheaper max CPC bids and still show just as much. Additionally, there are some revenue terms, so things like conversion, which is just any action taken by a user that's deemed important to an advertiser. So it can be a whole lot of different things, including a sale if we're talking about like an e-commerce website, lead generation if we're talking about maybe an education client that's just looking for form submits, or it could be like an ebook download. So it really can be anything that's deemed important to the advertiser. From there, we also talk about cost per conversion, which again is just cost divided by the number of conversions, and gives you an idea of, on average, how much are you paying for someone to take an important action on your website. Additionally, there's conversion rate. So similar to click-through rate, this is just a percentage. So of the times that people went to your landing page, how many times did those people actually convert? So there it's just conversions divided by clicks. And obviously there you want it to be higher rather than lower number. Additionally, if, for example, like an e-commerce client is tracking revenue, we can talk about return on ad spend, which is just a ratio of revenue over cost. And basically what it tells you is that for every dollar you spend on advertising, how many dollars in revenue did that drive? For a lot of e-commerce clients, the goal is somewhere between $2 to $5. Next, we'll talk about keywords and the different kind of match types there. But first, we'll talk about core keywords versus long tail keywords. Your core keywords are any sort of short, popular, or broader keyword related to your market or website. Lots of times it's a single keyword, but sometimes it can be two keywords as well. And the idea is that a core keyword should always be included in every long tail keyword that you have, which we'll discuss in a second. So for example, if you're running a small business that makes chocolates, there your core keyword would be chocolates or chocolate. Moving to long tail keywords, again, the core keywords are very general, and so it's important to add modifiers to those to get more specific and have a more successful AdWords or Google Ads campaign. And so that's where long tail keywords come in, which is just basically your core keywords surrounded by different modifiers. So in the previous example where we were talking about chocolates, some modifiers might be by, or near me, or Chicago. Whatever modifiers make sense that can make the keyword a bit more specific, the core keyword a bit more specific, would be making it a longer tail keyword. Long tail keywords typically do have lower search volume just because oftentimes people search with 1 or 2 word queries on search engines like Google and Bing. That being said, because they are lower search volume, oftentimes there's less competition around long tail keywords, so we see lower CPCs and also higher intent when someone is searching for or searching with a lot more keywords. Moving into the buying cycle, just a really quick kind of refresher here, but the buying cycle is not a new concept to marketing, and it is really important when you are considering kind of how you want to run a paid campaign. And the first part of that is just awareness. And so that's, again, where maybe some of your core keywords come into play. So just, broader, more generic keywords that are going to bring in a lot more traffic and generate more so awareness. And then from there, you can move someone into the interest part of the buying cycle where they've done their research, they're a bit more interested now in actually making a purchase, and they're aware of your products or services. And then they can do research from there, so searching for more chocolates, whatever it might be, figuring out what chocolates have the best ratings, and then the final part of that is the buying cycle, which is obviously going to be probably the most important aspect of your campaign. But getting the person back on your website to actually purchase or, again, convert. So within long tail accounts, it creates greater opportunity for conversions and increased revenue for clients by targeting those long tail keywords, because again, in the buying cycle, the longer tail keywords are going to be those high intent keywords that people use when they're ready to buy. So in this image on the slide here, you can see that when they're in the browsing phase, they might be searching for things like pants or shirts or tires. When they're in the shopping phase, they might be searching for men's pants, women's shirt, car tire. And then finally, when they're ready to buy, they're going to be using those longer tail keywords. So for example, men's black boot cut pants, or women's dress shirt, or 26-inch car tire. So again, really important that you're targeting those long tail keywords as well as your core keywords to hit users across the buying cycle. One really important part of paid search advertising is the different type of keyword match types. Match types help control which searches can trigger your ad. And so there are three main types and then also a fourth type. But the three main types are broad match and also broad match modified, phrase match, exact match, and then negative match keywords, which are keywords you don't want to show up for. And in general, the broader the keyword matching option, the more traffic potential the keyword has, while the narrower keyword matching option, so things like exact match, the more relevant the keyword will be to someone's search. First, talking about broad match. Again, broad match is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's the one that reaches the widest audience, and it's also the default match type because it doesn't have any sort of like brackets or parentheses, or not parentheses, but brackets or quotations around it like the other match types. And what that's telling Google is that Google can match your ad to queries using synonyms. So for example, your ad might display when someone searches for like expensive vehicles, even though your keyword is luxury cars. You can go a little further with broad match by taking it to broad match modified, which is denoted by a plus sign in front of the keyword. And basically all that does is it locks that keyword in and tells Google that this keyword or part of the keyword must be in the search query in order for our ad to show. So in the example we show here, the keyword is learn to code Chicago. Notice that plus signs are only in front of code and Chicago. And so we might also show for things like classes to code in Chicago, Chicago Code Academy, or learn how to code in Chicago. And you'll notice that in the right column there, both code and Chicago are in each query. Moving to a little bit more specificity here is phrase match. So phrase match offers some of the versatility of broad match, but just introduces a higher level of control. And basically your ad will only appear when a user searches for the key phrase within your keyword. So the example we give here is tennis shoes, and with phrase match keywords, they're denoted by quotations. So you'll notice that tennis shoes there is in quotations. And so we're eligible to show for things like red Nike tennis shoes, buy tennis shoes online or on sale, and then blue tennis shoes. And you'll notice that order matters here. So tennis shoes has to show in that order in order for our ad to show. And that's shown in the furthest right column where we have shoes for tennis. We would not show for that because tennis shoes is not in that order. And then finally we move to the most specific match type, which is exact match. Different are negative keywords, and we can use negative keywords to just tell Google or Bing, shoes example, we can only show for people searching for tennis shoes. So it's exactly what it sounds like. Their query needs to match the keyword exactly. And so we would not show for things like red tennis shoes or tennis shoes size 10. Generally speaking, with exact match keywords, oftentimes we see that when the query matches the keyword exactly, those keywords are probably going to show higher intent users, especially if they're longer tail again. So oftentimes with exact match, we see higher conversion rates than with broad match and broad match modified. And then again, the kind of the fourth match type, which is a little bit different, are negative keywords. And we can use negative keywords to just tell Google or Bing that we do not want to show for any queries that contain that keyword. As an example, let's say you're an optometrist who sells glasses. You'd want to prevent your ad from showing to someone searching for wine glasses, for example. And so what we would do is add wine as a negative keyword. Next, we'll jump into ad formats. Google Ads has a lot of different formats, and generally speaking, Microsoft Advertising or Bing follows suits. So shortly after Google rolls out a new ad format, Bing is usually a couple months behind. But besides text ads, there are a lot of different formats: video ads, image ads, responsive ads, even like app or digital content ads. A lot of those are different campaign types, but for some of those ads can be run in the same types of campaigns. Each type of ad has its own different benefits, but for the purpose of this PPC introduction, we'll be focusing primarily on the text ads for search. So for some different ads here, we have a brief call out of just image ads, which are specific to the Google Display Network. I'm sure you've come across these all the time, day to day. You'll be on a website and you'll see an ad from a site that you had visited a couple days ago or recently. Oftentimes that's an image ad that's showing through the Google Display Network. But for Google Search and Bing, we have to use text ads. And with text ads, it basically includes a couple lines of text and then a couple lines of descriptions. The newest format is 3 headlines, 2 descriptions, and we'll look at that a little bit more in depth here as we look at some examples. But on the right, you can see a bunch of different ads for different coding boot camps around the Chicago area. So here we're looking at the different parts of an ad, or a text ad specifically. And so again, there are 3 headlines. With all of these, there are character constraints, which are important to keep in mind. Google won't let you upload an ad that isn't within the character constraints, and same with Bing. So for the headlines, again, you can use up to 3 there, and there's a 30 character limit per headline. The headlines should oftentimes include the brand and then also a call to action to try to entice users to click on the ad. Additionally, any sort of UVPs or creating any sort of urgency can also help improve the click-through rate for that ad. So in the DeVry Bootcamp example, they include the next start date, which that sort of urgency can help influence a click. And then you also can use 2 descriptions, which are 90 characters each. And this is just the body of your text ad, and is where you can describe the product and service with a little bit more detail. Again, here space is limited, so it's important to choose your words carefully and also highlight the most important details. And also, it is a best practice to include a call to action at the end of your description as well. So something like apply today, visit our campus, anything like that. Additionally, there are display URLs, which is just a URL where you can input a path 1 and path 2 and just kind of add in some additional keywords with the URL. This doesn't actually have to be a URL that someone can go to, because again, your actual URL your actual final URL is gonna be set outside of that. And then with the display URL, there's also the path 1 and path 2. And so in this example, you can see that the paths they chose, or that General Assembly chose, were path 1 is Chicago and path 2 is classes. And so again, it's just another way to kind of insert some additional keywords or terms into your ad text. Some other final text ad parts here are the final URL. So again, this is just your landing page. So when a user clicks on the ad, where are you sending them? And then with that, there are also tracking templates or UTM parameters that you can attach to a final URL. And all that does is that data gets sent to Google Analytics so that Google Analytics can track ad traffic, or depending on how the advertiser or the business has their CMS or CRM set up, it can also be transferred to those. Obviously, ad copy is incredibly important. We talked about how campaign structure can be important, or account structure can be important as well. But obviously, ads are kind of what actually entices the user to click on your ad and go to your website. So in order to achieve a high click-through rate, it's really important to always be testing new ads within your account. Google's recommendation is at least 3 ads per ad group. Also, following other best practices, so things like including call to actions throughout your ad copy, especially in one of the headlines, and also including any sort of unique value propositions or UVPs to set yourself apart from the competition. Both good account structure and solid ads can, again, influence quality score and increase quality score, which can equal lower cost per clicks. So it's in your best interest to constantly test new ads and find out what works best in terms of click-through rate, so that you can get some cheaper CPCs and reduce costs. Additionally, ads include ad extensions, and ad extensions just give potential customers more reasons to click on your ad, and can include additional business information such as your address, phone number, more website page links, or product information. And this extra information appears beneath your general text ad, and it is completely free, and there's no reason not to use it, and oftentimes it'll improve click-through rate and is deemed a best practice by Google and Bing. Types of ad extensions include site links, so promoting additional pages within the site in addition to the landing page. Callouts, which are just small 25-character little snippets of text to just promote unique offers. You might say something like free shipping in your callouts. Structured snippets are specific aspects of products or services that you can call out. A good example of a structured snippet is courses. So for an education client, they can highlight the different courses that they offer. A call extension, which just includes your phone number. And within Google, you can set up call tracking as well, so you can track those calls. Additionally, you can link up Google My Business with your Google Ads account, and then you're eligible to show your location and address information as well. And then also promotion extensions. So for any sort of e-commerce client, they can add additional promotions. So things like 50% off your order, things like that. Then I know we've mentioned quality score a couple of times. So quality score, again, is a numeric grade from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and it's assigned to each of your keyword/ad/landing page combinations. And with a higher quality score, what that means is that your ad can show in the same position at a lower cost per click. So it's in your best interest to try to improve quality score, because then you can reduce costs. And there are 3 main factors that go into quality score. The first being expected click-through rate, and that's made up of a couple different things. So the expected click-through rate, that's based on the keyword's past click-through rate, or how often that keyword leads to a click on your ad. Your URL's past click-through rate, so it's specifically your display URL, and how often you receive clicks with your display URL, and then also your account history. So the overall click-through rate of all the ads and keywords in your account goes into that expected click-through rate factor. The other 2 are the quality of your landing page. So there, how relevant, transparent, and easy to navigate is your page. And Google knows if and how long a user is on your landing page. So it's important to reduce things like the bounce rate, Obviously, you don't want someone to land on your page and then, after a couple seconds leave. So Google wants to make sure they're providing a good user experience, so it's important that your landing page is up to par. And then also your ad relevance. It's important that the keywords or the keyword that triggered the ad is within the ad as well, and that your ads are well written and include that keyword multiple times ideally. So how relevant your keyword is to your ads. So again, the three main factors of quality score are expected click-through rate, landing page quality, and ad relevance. That concludes the PPC introduction. Hope you learned a lot, and thanks for listening.